This interview is with Duane Svec, owner of Duane Svec Advertising, located in Elkhorn, Nebraska. Duane, to start off, can you give us a brief background of your company? How did it get started, and how does your business function today?
I had purchased the business back in 1988 from an older gentleman that had this same type of business in a small town. And my wife and I have owned it for 22 years, since 1988. And we have about 6 or 7 salespeople. My wife and I work together and a couple office staff. And we sell promotional products to any type of business that is trying to promote their business, putting their name on their business to either sell or to give away to their customers.
Great. I just have a few different questions to ask you. With the up and down economy over the last few years, how has business been for you? Have you noticed dramatic increases or decreases in sales in your industry due to the economy?
There have been 2009. We saw a definite downturn in the economy. Wasn't as bad in the Midwest states as it was on the coast. I've got several friends that work on the East Coast and the West Coast that said their business was down anywhere from 30 to 45%. Our business was probably down anywhere from 10 to 15% in some instances. And 2010, the first probably 2/3 of the year were about like 2009, and we definitely saw an increase about the 1st of November, 2010, and we have seen an uptick in the economy. Seems like people's attitudes is a little bit better toward the end of the year and the first 2 or 3 months of this year, of 2011.
Great. What kinds of things does your company do in order to stay competitive in the current market with other businesses in your industry?
We have, for the last probably 10 years, have done some importing directly from China and overseas for some of our bigger customers, and that kind of comes and goes. Sometimes we have had very good luck with some overseas orders. Sometimes we've kind of passed some up that we didn't really want to do, or the situation didn't cater to having us do that. But that's one of the things we do that a lot of our competitors aren't able to do or aren't knowledgeable to do it. But we've done that for about 10, 11 years. One of the biggest advantages, we have a couple vendors that bring us new products that are very competitive, and we have kind of the market. There are other competitors in our market that have these same products, maybe about 4 or 5 different items that nobody else has. That maybe we might not sell that product, but it gets into a lot of doors just because we have some unique products that nobody else has.
So this business that you do overseas, how have you become to know those vendors? Is it just getting to know different people? Why aren't other companies in your industry able to do that as much work overseas?
A lot of the people is just people we've met over the years. If you don't know the right people to do the overseas business, it's very easy to get burned for lack of knowledge, and you place your trust in some people that have done overseas business, and you have to be really careful that you deal with people that have actually gone to China to see where these factories are at, because the only way you find good factories is if you have to walk in their doors to find them. You don't find them in the States.
All right. What different marketing and sales strategies do you implement into your company in order to create success?
I think probably with our salespeople, and I've always been a huge advocate of the fact that ours is a hands-on business. If I send you a picture of an item and describe it to you, there's a much better chance that we'll sell an item if they actually have a sample to touch and feel and try, versus just somebody doing it through the internet. We still think this is a very personal relationship type business, where if you are across a desk from somebody, you're more likely to succeed selling them something than over the phone or through the internet or anything like that. So it still is. People like to have somebody else across the desk to deal with.
Lately in our class, we've been discussing industry rivalry. Do you feel you have any other companies in your industry that are extremely competitive rivals? And if so, what specific things do you do in order to show your customers that you're the smarter company to trust?
I think you have to realize that you're going to have a rival no matter what kind of business you're in. we've been lucky in Omaha and Lincoln not to have so many rivals that compete with the same type of business, because we don't have a lot of distributors in the Omaha area that are good, and we don't really cross paths with a lot of our competitors on a day-to-day basis. I think the biggest thing we have to offer is our personal service. People know that we'll still come out and see them, whereas a lot of our competitors don't do that like they should. And so we've been fortunate to increase our business every year since we've been in business, other than maybe 2 years ago in '09 when the economy was bad.
All right, and lastly, I know your company's been based out of Nebraska and you've done local business here. Does your business spread any further than pretty local? Do you do a lot of out-of-state work, or is it just depending on kind of who you meet and who you know?
It's probably about 95% in Nebraska, but we do have customers that have moved from Nebraska to Las Vegas, and I've got a customer in Oregon and a couple other customers throughout the country. But our business we could do anywhere in the country if we wanted to or had contacts. So it is a business that doesn't have to stay in Nebraska, but it just by our choice or just the way things have happened, it has stayed in Nebraska.
All right, and finally, our class is strategic management for the semester, and a lot of the people in our class might be looking to go into sales. What's some of the advice you would give somebody who's looking down that path? What are some of the things you enjoy most about sales?
Definitely the thing I enjoy about sales is the personal relationships you develop with your customers. That's always been my favorite part of it. It's not so much a product you sell, but just how you can service your people, make them happy. Any advice I could give to them, just be ready for paying your dues for a year or two, at least a year or two before. During that time period, you're probably not going to make a ton of money, but you need to learn how to sell. You need how to get along with people, and it pays off in the long run. You can't make any more money doing anything else other than sales. It's a very rewarding business, and it's something, if you work hard at it, you can make a lot of money at it.
All right, great. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.